Hey fellas, domination tips. Right back with the next World War tag, and it was quite a little bit quiet all around my YouTube account because I didn't upload any video. I changed the alliance again, so only 3 more alliances remaining before I will finally return to my home Teletubbies. I'm currently at Deutsche Einheit, so translated German Unity. A pretty strong enemy alliance. Most of the strongest players somewhere between atomic age and global age, also some industrials and lower guys. We are already warred against them 2 times, both times pretty obvious stalemates, so definitely an alliance which should be not underestimated. The communication and the strategy system over here is slightly other than anything I've ever experienced. So over here you are getting matched up with some of the guys to some so-called groups, and within these groups you are getting assured, or you are getting signed to some specific enemy targets. So for example, 6 players, 5 others with me got to group 1. And so our targets are enemies 1 up to 6, and now we have to communicate and to talk about which of us will take which enemy. So there is no specific assignment of enemies like I'm used to. For example, I will do enemy number 1 and 4, for example, so that I can scout their bases and prepare. It's a little bit more about communication over here. It's definitely no bad system, but it's unexperienced, and I'm not used to this system. So I want to do my first attack fast, because I chose enemy number 2, which is, I think, nearly completely global. I will show you later. But first I want to show you my base update, and you can see my trade house finally finished. I started with the first market, but there were some problems. So first we still have an event running where our castle is getting really much cheaper. So 95,000 instead of 180 or 190,000. So very much save of oil. So instead of researching my planes at the first global stage in the blacksmith, I decided to go for the castle. The problem is, all of the money which I intended to spend into my sniper towers, I spent into my walls, and then I recognized I need 8 instead of 4 people for the castle, and that was quite a problem, because the gold was quite away. I only had a very big bunch of oil and 4 instead of 8 citizens, so I had to speed up my factory. Therefore I could already try out the unleveled and unresearched, currently pretty low leveled bazooka guys in my base, and therefore I could start my fort. Problem is, I activated 2 generals, but these are some kind of emergency actions, so I will have my generals with me like always, like planes, like tactics when I'm upgrading, but I try to not use them as some kind of first aid reaction. Also in 14 hours my research is getting ready. The research is currently about betrayal, so I get 1 more ambusher from my ambush traps. And then during the week I have some university military actions and things to do, and therefore I'm pretty sure I cannot play at any time. But because I have that much oil, I think I can do some more researches of the command, or even the warfare. I think it's a warfare chapter called Warfare, this book. I can do during the week to keep my research ongoing. I also trained 7 of my bazookas because I'm not used to them. I did only a couple of multiplayer attacks, but I figured out for myself that for my ordinary raiding purposes they are not that sensible, because they are really often getting ate up or killed by some even low-level ballistas and other things because of their low range, and they are costing really much oil and some kind of training time. Therefore I figured out for my looting or raiding in the multiplayer they seem not that sensible, but for the multiplayer or for the Worldwar especially, they can make a really big deal. Now what I have to admit, I haven't leveled and I have not researched them, so they are gaining no bonuses at all, which could make them a little bit underwhelming for enemy bases, especially for such one which I searched for myself to attack now in the World War. We see these are the basic bazooka guys. I can still upgrade them one time more in the blacksmith and then do some additional research in the library. But what is really awesome about them, I checked their stats and we have pretty good hit points, especially if we are talking about incoming mortar hits. We have 180 damage, which is not that great, also like the range, but we have 1260 damage against buildings, walls and tanks. So especially at bases where we have high level depots, such like in the base I will attack right now, these guys can really help me out. So I have to deal without any generals. I will use my mercenaries and some donated howitzers or field howitzers. I think it's my first World War over here. I think I have to make some kind of message who to attack and which tactics to take with me. I'm not sure, but it seems like this is a system in this alliance. So, okay, everything seems ready. Let's check the town center for the donated troops. Okay, Enlightenment Age, Atomic and Global should be enough. Let's check out for the enemies. We have already 2 attacks done. One at our side, one at the enemy side, obviously. But we can only see our attacks. The enemy attack seems to be still ongoing. Let's check for my enemy number 2, which I searched. I can't see any coalitions at all. So what we see over here is, I would call it a pretty much maxed out global base. We have 2 not that good placed sniper towers and also not that high leveled, but therefore we have 3 maxed out tank depots, 1 maxed out bunker, 1 industrial max bunker. All cannon towers seems to be maxed out global. Did I say industrial or atomic? I'm not sure. It's a global base nevertheless. Most of the garrisons are maxed out, towers maxed out, command post. I also think the fort is maxed out, but I'm not sure. Yeah, what I have to deal about is this kind of spiral structure. We see it over here. So if we are in here, we can get access to nearly all of the chambers. There are some small chambers all around at the outer side, which are not that bad placed because there are some cannon towers and they are pretty close to the mortars. So we have some pretty good protection for the mortars. But my aim is to... What did I do? Hello? Okay, so here we are back. What I want to do is drop my mercenaries first, because they will, especially the Jagdpanzer, will aim for the garrison and the tower, I think. They are aiming for defensive structures, hopefully getting the attention of the mortars very soon. Then fast deploying all of my rest troops behind, using 1 infantry guy to kill the sniper tower, hopefully placing it properly next to it, because otherwise this sniper tower could be a really pain in the ass when I'm all the way or all the time inside the base and he still, or it still keeps sniping. I want to deploy my my bazookas a little bit later, because I'm a little afraid that this cannon tower, this anti-tank gun, would snipe out too many of them. So also I have no experiences about them. My Blitzkrieg, I want to use it because of the tank depots, the bunkers and the town center somewhere over here next to the air defense. I think I can also reach the castle and the command post. What is special about this base, in my opinion, we have no stronghold. I'm not sure whether I'm not seeing it, but I cannot recognize any stronghold over here, so I don't have to panic about. So Blitzkrieg I want to use over here next to town center and this air defense. My sabotage locations will be first over here, I think. Second one, hopefully over here, getting mortar, high level bunker and the town center. Then in the later attack, I think over here, the next sabotage point for perfectly bunkered tank depot and mortar. And last but not least over here, I have 1/5 sabotage remaining, probably for some I don't know, emergency cases. So yeah, this guy is at enemy number 2. I also expect pretty high research at him, so resistance research and probably high university research. So the damage and the hit points of his defensive structures could be really high. We will see. So I have no offense coalitions. Everything ready. Yeah, hopefully you enjoy the attack. Wow, very nice attack indeed. It ran very much better than I anticipated. So the troops ran very fluently. All of the sabotage, all of the tactics used, whatever, worked really perfectly. It's a pity I lost one of my planes, which was quite not planned, but I think with 1 minute and 22 seconds left at the clock, this was definitely not bad if we are considering or taking into consideration that my army is some kind of industrial age plus. I have no generals. I have had no generals, and in total I only have 2 instead of 3 generals. I only have my paper planes from the industrial age, no howitzers, and yeah. I don't know how you have seen it. Give me some comments about what's your opinion about the attack. But I think this was quite some kind of straightforward attack. The enemy was definitely not low level in my opinion, but the base build was a little bit easy. There are definitely higher bases. So in total, guys, I'm really satisfied with this attack. We see you soon. Your domination tips.